Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the second episode of Content Overload. My name is Raven, and you're probably wondering, wait, I recognize that guy next to you, Raven. I recognize him. Well, indeed, you do recognize him because I am joined by none other than my good old pal. Who are you, bro? Who are you?
Hey.
Hey.
My name's Will137, guys. I am back at it again for another episode with Raven here for our Content Overload episode dose.
Exactly. And here's the kicker. One thing that Will said, he said hour, because a lot of you really enjoyed Will, almost a little too much, kind of concerned, guys. But
I'm not.
It's great because I really enjoyed chatting with Will. I think he had a lot of great things to say during the first episode, and I figured, you know what? I think it's an important decision for not only the channel and not only for the show, but I think it's a really good decision to have a permanent co-host. So many of you that are watching from my stream heard me earlier in the week talk about how I have some big announcements, a singular big announcement to talk about on this week's episode of Content Overload. And well, that's it. Will137 is going to be our permanent co-host here on the Content Overload podcast. And I couldn't be happier to have my good old pal join me every other week for each episode of Content Overload. So welcome in, man.
Thanks. It's gonna be great, guys. So I don't know if you noticed, personally, last episode I was a lot more cordial and formal, but eventually I'm gonna get really comfortable with podcasting and all the weird's gonna come out. You guys are gonna get to be stuck with it for
eternity.
Forever. Whole rest of this podcast.
Yeah, the rest of the entire series.
You're gonna love it.
Yeah, you're gonna love it. You're forced to love this. You have to like, you have to comment, and you have to subscribe.
You will like me.
Yeah, you will.
Raven.
You will.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm just really happy that you're here. Honestly, I think it's really cool that having a permanent co-host. And guys, that doesn't mean that we're not going to have guests. We still are going to have plenty of guests. We actually already have one lined up for episode 3 in a couple weeks. So super exciting. I'm not going to spoil it. No spoilers yet, but our next guest is going to be really cool. And we already have some good ideas cooking on what we're going to talk about to interview our next guest. But that's for episode 3. Episode 2, a lot to talk about. A lot of huge things have been happening throughout the gaming world, which is pretty much going to be our focus for this week's episode of Content Overload. And I think the first thing that we absolutely need to talk about is one of the biggest games taking the world by storm and making Nintendo weep every single night before they go to bed. Palworld. Dude, Palworld, as of January 31st, has sold over 12 million copies on Steam and 7 million players on Xbox through obviously their marketplace and through Game Pass. Palworld is taking the world by storm, and I've been enjoying it.
Yeah, it's like most of the population, guys.
Most of the world.
It's pretty. Yeah, that's crazy. If a person owns a computer, they own Palworld now.
Yeah, I mean, not even just a computer. If you own an Xbox, you own Palworld. Yeah. It's on the marketplace and Game Pass.
There's Xboxes out there. I believe it.
There's only 7 million people with an Xbox out there. Oof.
Yeah.
Our next topic, the console wars.
I'm one of them. I'm one of them. So don't worry, guys. I'm not with PS5. I don't like PlayStation. No offense, guys.
No offense. Even though I'm
just
offended.
A little bit.
I love PlayStation.
It's all right. You can take offense. Don't worry about it.
But Palworld, man, this game has been crazy. I mean, it's been all over the news. Like, I've even heard Palworld hitting mainstream media talking about how crazy this is. I mean, obviously the main reason why it's taking the world by storm and mainstream media is talking about it is because Nintendo is being Nintendo, doing what they normally do, and and trying to figure out how they can get this game taken down. But I mean, other than all of that drama, Nintendo's drama can just stay over there. Um, I mean, I have played 4.7 hours total, so not a whole lot. I streamed it a little bit to try to see what the hype was all about, and I can understand why the hype is it's there. It's a great
Yeah.
game. I mean, how long have you been playing?
I've played a few hours too. Steam says I've played for 119.7 hours. So just a little bit more than you, but
Just a little bit.
like I've I've got maybe like 10 different runs I'm in. It's just a lot of fun. I barely have any experience with the game. I just started basically, 119, it's light work. It's
Yeah.
definitely
With 10 different
like
runs,
that's
you start and then you stop because the game is so cool, so you have to
yeah,
start over. You love the beginning so
exactly.
much.
Honestly, personally, I will say because I have not gone through and beaten the game, it's probably still driving me to it, but like I'm over level 25 in all 10 of the runs. I'm
Mm,
chilling. It's so fun. I love it. I'm doing something different in every single one. Oh man,
yeah.
it's so fun. It's
It,
such a fun
it's
game.
it's a really good game. So there actually is end game to it. Like there's an actual like narrative to the game.
So there isn't a narrative, but there is like you basically can't progress much further than
Mm.
your max level is level 50, and there are end game raids or bosses that you can go through and get. And as far as I know, I don't know if there's an actual point where you beat the Ender Dragon and you get your roll of
You
credits,
get credits.
But
You've
other
killed
than
all the
like,
pals.
yeah, I don't know if you
Conquered
get to
them.
that point, but you do get to a point where there's not much
There's
more
not
room
much
for
content
progress
left.
into it. Yeah,
Okay. I mean,
but
yeah,
still
it's
amazing.
yeah, it's so unique that and I'm not the only one. There has been a ton of people out there that have been begging who's the developer? Game Freak, right? Game Freak is the developers for Pokemon, I believe.
Hmm.
Um they people have been begging Game Freak to make an open world Pokemon, and I think the closest one that people have ever gotten was the not Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, but Pokemon Arceus. Arceus was probably
Yeah,
the
I
closest
own it.
one to it, and it was not that at all. Palworld is essentially the Pokemon that people have wanted, and I will say when I did load the game for the very first time, I did struggle on stream. I saw the pals and I called them Pokemon for like the first 2.5 hours. Um, but I think after I got to a certain point, I think after I really started developing my base and actually, I think it was when I developed the farm where you can like get wool and stuff
The
from.
ranch.
Yeah, the ranch. Once I made that, I think that's when I started like adjusting to calling them pals and everything. And
Hmm.
I remember distinctly the very first time I like called it a pal where it flowed correctly. It was when I got absolutely obliterated by a boss by accident because my pal was so stupid. It was attacking what I think it's called a Lambo or a Lambo or whatever.
Land ball, yeah.
Yeah, it was attacking one of those, and there was a boss right next to it, and its attack just went right next to it, and it hit it, and the boss got triggered and just obliterated me, and I was like, "You fucking pal!" I was so mad, and that's when I started enjoying the game. I was like, "That this is it. This is the game."
I love it. There's so like really I don't think of it like Pokemon, like of course it's got a lot of similarities to
Right.
Pokemon, but I definitely still think of it as an original game. There's so much stuff out there that of course you're going to see this or that and you're like, "Oh, it's got similarities." Doesn't mean it's basically that game. Like it's quite a bit different from Pokemon still, but it's got similarities to like it reminds me of Elden Ring because you've got
Ooh.
a giant Mamorist and as the first boss you run into and you're not supposed to fight that. Just like the Tree Sentinel in Elden Ring, you are not supposed to fight that. That's not the first boss that you
Even
want to
though I know
fight.
plenty of people that did.
Yeah.
They're
I
like,
know
first challenge,
someone.
fuck you, you're mine.
Yeah. And then it reminds me of Ark as well because
Heard
of
that.
the towers that you have. They're like obelisks in Ark. They're similar in a way, like you would go into those and you get to do your own big old boss fight. And all of it's amazing, but then it's also got its original stuff put into it. And and the mechanics and the small details, the minute details that they added into it are so fun. Like you can catch humans
I
in
did
the
see
game.
that. Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, you can. I've caught all kinds of traders and I put them out my base and I can just trade with them there instead of traveling around. And then there's a bunch of different factions of human enemies. They will, if they run into each other, they'll fight each other. Or like at my current base that I'm at, I have some thugs that spawn next and around my whole base, and I got raided by thugs one time, and they got angry at the thugs raiding me, and they were killing the thugs that were raiding me even though they were both thugs. It was really cool. It was like a territorial war. I loved it. And the pals will fight each other too, and
Yep.
it's so cool. Yeah, like Mammarists all the time will be sitting there pounding on each other back and forth till one
Yeah.
of them just ultimately goes down and just can't take any more, you know?
Yeah. I think one of the coolest things that I've seen in that game is that it's one of the actually the first experience that I had when I walked out of that like cave thing. I guess that's what you could call it when you spawn in. There was the first thing that the game tells you to do is you need to go capture a pal. First thing you got to do. So I go over and I find a lamb ball, and run over it with my little spear, and I just start poking it, start to whittle down that HP, and then I throw the pal spear at it, and it doesn't go in the first time, and I'm like, oh, you son of a bitch. And so I continue to poke it again, and then it eventually just dies. And the funniest thing was obviously the little X's in their eyes when they're dead. And then
Mhm.
the funniest thing was them rolling down the hill. It rolled down the hill and it kept going. And I could see it in the
Yeah.
distance just rolling and rolling. And I was like, that's amazing. That is hilarious that I can just push this thing around if I want to. It's awesome.
Yeah. And the bugs and stuff are really fun too
Yeah.
sometimes. Like I had an Aether deer, which is a purple deer in the game, and
Mhm.
used that. I charged at something and did an uppercut attack and literally went. It was a lamb ball, and I literally sent it flying over a cliff, and it didn't just like go off the cliff and like start falling. It went up in the air,
It
like it
sailed.
was
It went upwards.
like
Yeah.
it was a home run. Yeah, it it
The
was
home run of all
gone.
Lambles.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's really fun. It's
Yeah.
super entertaining
I
and
really
super
enjoy
horrible at the same time.
the customization in the game as well. I like the that you can create your own bases. Like I made a cool base. It's not the best base. I think you actually saw it. Um and there's I will say, dude, oh my god. The one thing that pissed me off, I couldn't figure out how to make a pointed triangle roof, like an attic. I wanted to make an attic, and I couldn't figure it out. And to this day, I still don't know. And I asked you, do you know how to do that? Have you
No,
figured that out?
no, I don't mess with the I don't mess with the slanted roofs at all anymore. I
See,
tried it that one time. Can't.
I guess as a player, I'm the type of person in games where I care more about aesthetic and cosmetics. Like, I want the coolest farm for my pals. I want the coolest house. I want to build a barn. I want to build all this cool stuff. And then I'll go and fight the boss if I want to. Are you the type of person that
Hmm.
goes out and fights them immediately?
It depends.
Okay.
Like like I said, I do completely different stuff in all my runs. The run I'm in currently, I spent so much time. Like I was kind of on a slope, and you can't just like there's no button to make it to where it won't snap. So when you try to build something lower than a platform lower than one you already have, you have to back it up like the width of another platform
Mhm.
and line it up perfectly. Like I spent so much time lining up perfectly so that way I could put it down and then put another one down right there and they'll line up just right. And oh man, I spent so much time doing all that.
Okay. So
And
there is
but
a
my
lot
base
more
looks so beautiful.
to base building in that game.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
And I
definitely.
one thing I did notice, I went in when you obviously when you start up on your run, you get the tutorials and whatnot. It was the tutorial boss. I mean, technically tutorial boss. It was the first one that you have to go to the tower.
Yeah, the
Um,
Syndicate Tower.
mhm. So I went there. I got obliterated. Um, realized I need to level up my pals a little more. But I
Mhm.
found a very I don't know if it's there still. But I found a game breaking bug in there. Yeah. So you know, in the when you get into you spawn into the room, there's obviously the big flat surface, and there's 4 pillars.
Mhm.
There's 2 on each side. Well, apparently, the if you run to one of the pillars and the boss walks up to the pillar, it'll get stuck and it'll just like stand there and do nothing. Your pal could just hit it all day with attacks, and the boss won't attack back at all. And obviously, it would have been better if my pals were higher level, because then I could have just stood there the entire time and exploited that bug and defeated the first boss. But because I was low level, it's timed. What is it, like 10 minutes? I think you have like 10 minutes to kill the
Mhm.
first boss. It was
Yeah,
timed,
10
and
minutes.
I didn't have enough time to sit there. I think it would have taken me a 45 minutes with my pals in there at that level.
It's it's actually really funny you mentioned that cuz when I was going around, two of my friends went in and did it and they accidentally found out about that bug. And so we ended up using it a little bit,
Hmm.
utilizing it. We all had high level robin quills, which are like these they're called human hunters. They basically are just grass types that are humanoid figures
Okay.
and they use crossbows and or not crossbows, bow and arrows that they make stuff like that
Okay.
for their attacks. And then they have a seed bomb that they throw out that uh vine whips or wraps around whatever pal you're trying to attack with it. And we decided to get the boss stuck there, and then all three of us just threw our robin quills out, and it just they kept throwing their seed bombs and
They just kept
stuff at
shooting them.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
and then they kept shooting it. Yeah, it was really fun.
So it's still a game breaking bug then. It hasn't changed since launch.
Well, they did recently come out with a new
The patch.
patch.
Okay.
They did not mention it in that patch. I do not know. I doubt, since it's not mentioned in there, I would not think that they fixed it. But this last patch that they made was amazing.
Oh, really?
So many,
What
yeah,
what changes did they make? Because I haven't played in a while. So I haven't played since launch. So I'm out of touch right now. I'm
yeah.
out of my
Well,
depth.
first of all, I'm super like they're awesome because they within the first week of making the game, they had one patch out already. And then this is the second week they already have another patch out and they fixed all kinds of stuff. And so like major fixes that they listed was um people's games would crash under certain conditions or
Hmm.
like if somebody was hosting a world and it got too full of RAM and certain things, a lot of times it would keep crashing more and more. There was a problem with the pals that people had, whether they had the pal out or they had it in their base. If it had under 30 HP, 30% HP,
Mhm.
somebody else could catch their pal. Um, yeah,
So if you were the owner of that pal and it went down to 30 HP, your buddy could throw a pal spear and catch it.
yeah.
Nice.
or even somebody in a different guild could. Yeah. And another
Nice.
thing, they did state that they fixed an issue where enemy pals would get stuck in walls due to charge attacks. I think it is better, but it is definitely not fixed completely because
Okay.
yesterday I did experience it a few times that there were still enemies that would charge at me and they got stuck in a wall, especially like Panking in his little dungeon thing. He still gets stuck in the wall when he does charge attacks after me. And they fixed. There was a problem whenever bases or guilds reached around 7,000 captured pals. The save data would just get corrupted. Um, they
Oh
fixed
no.
that. They're working on it. One games or servers that are already affected by it so much that they can't even run or anything. They can't fit. They're still working on fixing that. But ones that were starting to experience it, they should be better now.
Jeez.
And
I couldn't even imagine someone, I mean, you spent what, 100 and what is it, 107?
119 hours.
119 hours. I couldn't imagine someone that spent like 150. And then he's like, I finally done it. Bling blong. And you're like, no. And that would have killed me. That would have killed me. I'd have been so mad.
I don't know how a guild gets up to 7,000 pals, man. There's 111 different pals, and then there's their variations that are considered, I think.
I think it's definitely possible. Like, how many people per?
It's a lot.
How many people per guild? It's how many? 20?
20.
And what is the cap per server? Or per world?
32.
I think it's possible.
Unless you're doing co-op is 4. But in a community server it's like 32.
Yeah, I think it's possible. I mean, if you have the limit.
Yeah,
I think it's possible.
That's still a lot of catching.
You have 20 sweaty pal hunters. What are they called? What are they called? Pal hunters?
Pal tamers.
Pal tamers? My apologies.
No, you're good. I only know that just because I talk to the people on the islands that I randomly find, and they're like, "Oh wow, all my friends died. These pals are horrible." and then they're like,
right,
"Oh, but
do
if
that.
you're a pal tamer, you can get some good pals. Just be careful. Here, have 5 paldium fragments." I'm like, all right.
It sound like Mickey Mouse.
It did a little
crossover between Disney and Palworld. Now
Yeah,
that
Disney
would be something
World.
to see. Disney. I shouldn't put that out into the atmosphere because then the Stooges at Disney might buy Palworld. However, I feel like the dev team would love it because I mean I mentioned this on stream today actually. That the devs are made up of a group of guys that never made anything ever. They just decided we're gonna do it, and they did it. They learned it along the way, and I thought that was incredible.
What's cool too is I think they even had one of them had a kid of their own that they helped with like the design.
One of their own children helped design the game. That's amazing.
Yeah, with like guns or pals, stuff like that.
Dad, we got to make it like Fortnite.
Their middle school kid draw guns. But
oh boy, yeah,
it's America. Fuck it.
Yeah, we got to get some guns in there, Dad. We got to get some guns in there now. No one will buy it. If you think about it though, I think at every dev meeting, that's exactly what they went through. I'm sure that they were sitting there with their little pens and paper, and they're like, "What do we need to make a top tier, like AAA style game? Cute animals, got it. Okay. Guns, got it." How do we sell this? Like? Yeah, what do cute animals guns? Lots and lots of animals. We'll just we'll give the animals guns now.
Yeah.
No, it's a great game, and I mean, a huge shout out to everyone that worked on the game because a lot of people wrote that game off as just being a shit post. Really, like I even one of my friends thought it was fake. Like they just made a trailer to like just fuck around and see what would happen. But it was real and it's
Yeah.
good. It's really good. It runs really well on. Like I know some people that have potato PCs, and it still runs really well. A first time dev
Yeah.
team made a AAA style game in, I believe, Unreal Engine 5 that is very well optimized and it's well loved with Nintendo excluding them. It's well loved. So huge props to the people in Palworld that make the game. So good on you.
I
I'm
mean,
I'm
and
happy.
personally, I'm not even saying, or I don't think, unless Nintendo outrightly said it, I don't even think Nintendo necessarily hates them. It's just they've been getting a lot of inquiries, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, Nintendo's gonna fucking hate you guys for doing this," and all of that. But like Nintendo was just like, "Hey, we've heard you guys have said enough. Like we're watching them.
Yeah,
Of
the
course, they
Nintendo
probably
stands.
have
I get
them
it.
under a they have them under a close scope because they want to make sure they keep their money, you know.
Yeah.
But I think that they probably still like it, and I'm sure that with this happening, they can get benefits off of it too with Pokemon. But that's just
Maybe.
my opinion.
Maybe. I mean, I I was having a conversation with someone else the other day about Power World and what what could have happened or what could have happened to avoid the whole thing. And I honestly I believe that Power World would have been in the clear if it didn't sell as many copies as it has already. Um because it's such a worldwide phenomenon right now and it's one of the most talked about games. Like I think Power World now is what Lethal Company was when it first came out. Um in terms of like grand scale, everyone wanting to play it, wanting to buy it and
Hmm.
everything. Like, Power World is the next big thing right now. And because it sold so many copies, 12 million, and that was as of the 31st, and it's currently February 2nd as of recording. Probably even more now. And I think that's probably one of the main reasons why I think Nintendo would not have cared if they didn't sell as nearly as many copies as they have now.
Yeah. And
So,
I will also say, like, also before I continue, I wanted to add my so far my favorite bug fix of this patch. Not necessarily favorite, but the biggest thing that was a problem was that people can now use there's memory reset drugs to reset your stats, but
oh,
the statue of power that you use that you get these glowing green effigies and you put them in it to power up your capture power. It used to be that when you would use the memory reset drug, it would reset your capture power, but it wasn't supposed to, and the statue of power would still make you need to get the same amount of effigies you need to get for the next level, and you would never be able to max out your capture power. It was really bugged out, and they fixed that, so that is nice. But I want to say I'm amazed with the developers. Like, they're like not just them making this game, and the game's great and everything, but it's so cool that they made the game. They spent 3 year dedicated 3 years into
okay, so
this
it's
game.
3 years development. Okay.
Um, and who knows, it could have been longer, but like that's what was said that they used working on it.
Mm-hmm.
And they they spent all that time dedicated to this, and they decided to just make the game $30 is the base price.
Yep.
Um, Instead of like any new game that comes out.
70.
Now the games are starting to go up to $70 instead
Yeah.
of
Sometimes even
$60.
80.
Usually what you would expect. Yeah, usually you'd expect 50, $60, and now they're going up 70, $80.
Mm-hmm.
But Palworld, not only did they make the base price $30 for their amazing little game, but Pocket Pair, they decided to put a sale on it for the first like for the first week that they had the game
Yeah, it was
out.
like $26, I think.
Yeah, so it was
Yeah.
$26. Not a huge sale, but it is a sale, and it was really nice that they offered to do that because so many companies don't do that. They'll release a game, they're like, no sale. They released it just before Christmas. Oh, it just released. Sorry, no sale. And they just decided to release it with a sale, and it was
Yeah.
really nice because they want to be able to share and put their game out and let the community, eat it up. And they are. And they're making a great profit off of the
Yep.
availability.
So, I mean, huge note to major AAA companies. People will buy your game. It's affordable, but also good. Listen to the devs, which, you know, Palworld is a great game, but I do want to focus a lot on developers in general, not just for Palworld, because developers in the industry right now are definitely in a spotlight right now, both good and bad. So that don't worry, this next part of the podcast is going to be a little downer. But I wanted to talk about how, like, the state of the industry right now, but how it can actually change for the better. Not saying what is going on currently is good, because it's not. Exactly. Fuck the system. But yeah, I wanted to talk about all the layoffs in the video game industry recently. I mean, there's been layoffs throughout the industry over the past couple years, but it is starting to get progressively worse. So as of January 31st of this year, Dexerto reports that Sega of America is set to lay off 10% of their employees. Mind you, Sega just came out with the new Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. So they just had a major launch, and in celebration of that, 10% of their staff just cut. And on January 25th, Activision Blizzard laid off 1,900 employees, which is part of their esports department that took most of the hit. They took the brunt of that layoff wave. And within this same month, Riot Games, Discord, Google, Twitch, and Unity have laid off workers as well. So this is a huge thing that's happening in the industry, and it sucks. I mean, it really bothers me that there's a lot of people that work super hard on these games, and if a game doesn't sell well, it's not the devs' fault. They didn't have time. They didn't have time to make the game perfect. Most of these major AAA titles, they're coming out at launch broken, and they're not working properly. And I don't know, it sets a bad taste in my mouth that there really is no I don't know, I wouldn't really say loyalty, but I just feel that if big studios kept their developers in shop and gave them the resources and the time, they would be making way more money than the shit that they're doing now. I mean, what are your thoughts?
Oh, man. I don't know. That's it. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know. It sucks.
It's. I didn't get to read up on it very much. I read a little bit on the on one of our other topics, but I did not get to read up on this one very much. But as far as like what's been said from you about this and the information, it's really hard to imagine these big companies, like what they're going through or what's going on in them, for them to go so smoothly this whole time, and then out of nowhere they start laying off big chunks of
Yeah.
their company. And it really makes you wonder where A, that company's going to go, and B, what the work environment in those places are going to be like for the next year, 5 years. If it's going to change, if it's going to be better, if it's going to continue downhill from here?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I mean, I myself personally, I wanted to, I want to still, even though all this shit's going on, I still want to, because I still believe that this industry is a valuable place and a fulfilling place to work in. And I'll just use a couple of studios for example. If you go to Activision Blizzard, if you go to Santa Monica Studios, any studio like that, right? If you go to their careers page and you go through to try to find something, like for me, anything in communications, whether it be PR or marketing, there's nothing. But there is a ton of job openings for developers. That is like a huge thing in the industry. They're letting everyone go, but they need a ton of developers to make their shit. Which makes sense, right? You just let people go, we need them back. But the big kicker about a lot of these job listings on their pages are that it's contracted. It's not full-time employment. So you'll be hired onto, let's just say, Activision Blizzard. You're going to be working on the next Call of Duty. Oh boy, I get to put that on my resume. I worked on Call of Duty. You don't get any of the benefits working at Activision Blizzard. I mean, you might get a copy of the game. Cool. Woo. You might get some coins for World of Warcraft. Awesome. If you play it. But you're not going to get any of the benefits like healthcare. There's no job security in the industry anymore. It's really sad. Which is why there's really a huge rotating door of all of these developers. And there's just I'm going to use my football team, the Philadelphia Eagles, as an example. This last season, they were a great team, but they had shitty coaches, which made the great players not play well. And it turned everything into shambles really quickly, really fast. Mm-hmm. You're not giving the players an opportunity to actually fully develop with the talent that they have, because you have the higher ups ruining that chemistry. Activision Blizzard just announced this week, or I think it was maybe late last week, a new president of Blizzard. Literally one quit. They left the company a couple of days before all of their layoffs happened. So now they hired a new person, and they're looking for new developers to work on their projects.
Well, it also could be like, if it's from a new developer coming in, think of it kind of like how Elon Musk did with Twitter. Like, he came in and he was seeing how much was getting done with how many people, tested how much he could get done with how many people, and he was like, all right, well, we don't need these people, and laid off a big chunk of a certain type of people maybe their work ethic wasn't that great. I mean, I don't know the
extent. I mean, we will never know. We weren't on the inside.
I don't know the boundaries of his, what kind of people he laid off, but I'm sure he wasn't going to just take, this great worker that's been here for however many years, gone. But like, it could be similar in that way, maybe the new developer sees the way these people, or the new president sees the way these people work, and is like, I'm not
we need to make a change here.
that.
And that's valid. I mean, like I said, really good point. But I think it's important that, maybe time will tell. Maybe the move was good. I don't know. I just think it's kind of concerning that not only did they let more employees go, but they just did that before. Like, they had another wave of layoffs in 2023, in early 2023. Now they did one in early 2024. And that's also being acquired by Microsoft for what, $9 billion? Multi-billion-dollar deal. They just got acquired by Microsoft. So there's just a lot of question marks that I have. Like, there's just like, You laid off all these people, which if you needed to, get rid of some people, like you said with Elon Musk, that's a great example. You don't need that many people to make Twitter run properly. Okay. That's your opinion, and you felt like it was a good business move for you. You should do it. But after being acquired for $9 billion, it's like what's going on here? I don't know what the whole like situation is there. I just feel like is it a sinking ship, or is it just they're trying to get rid of people out of the ship at that point?
Yeah, it could be a multitude of things. It kind of depends on the president, what their ideals are and how it goes. So yeah, time's probably the best option we got. See what does happen.
Yeah, and
And
yeah, and hopefully things are okay. Hopefully these developers can land on their feet, because I mean it sucks to lose your job after you've been working there for, I don't know, say however many years, right? It sucks to just
yeah.
keep throwing out on the street and be like, yeah, good luck, have fun, see you later. So hopefully they all land on their feet. I wish nothing but the best for them. But as sucky as that might be, and as dark as it may be, there is some good stuff that has come out of developers being laid off. We saw a lot of this in 2021. It was like right when things started to kind of open up during COVID. Uh, I'm noticing a lot more studios opening up, which
Yeah.
is kind of crazy to me, because you think of like all these major studios, like I said, Santa Monica Studios, Naughty Dog, Activision Blizzard, so on and so forth. But now we're getting new studios run by these developers that left or got laid off. So, as a great example, former Saints Row developers at Volition left after layoffs, or being let go from the studio. And I guess those guys decided to start up their own studio called Shapeshifter Games. And if you head over to their LinkedIn, there isn't an official website yet, I don't believe, but one of the developers' LinkedIn changed to Shapeshifter Games, which is why it's a huge deal right now. And in their mission statement, it says Shapeshifter, that's a tongue twister, is a co-development partner for AAA games. Our goal is to grow and assist developers and publish by providing a sustainable workforce model. And this report is according to Game Rant, but still, I think that's amazing. I mean, talk about land on your feet, huh? I think that's incredible. I mean, you're not only are you doing what you wanted to do, but you have the skill, you have the talent, and you have the resources to back up your name, right? From working at all
Mhm.
these studios. But the fact that Shapeshifter is wanting to provide a quality a sustainable workforce, not a quality workforce, but a sustainable one, is also really beneficial, because I mean, did you play the last Saints Row game, the most recent one that came out?
I have not
Okay, so I
played the
have.
other one, so
I played the most recent Saints Row game, and it's not great. It is not. I mean, it's playable, and there's some fun moments, but I mean, I didn't really enjoy it as much as I wanted it to be fun, because I have played the other Saints Row games, and I know that was a huge issue with Volition, because I don't think Volition's an official studio anymore. I think they closed after the new Saints Row came out. They were just like, that's it, I'm done.
yeah, Embracer announced their closing for Volition.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, it's cool that these developers are actually, you know, not taking it. I mean, it sucks, but they're not taking it too hard, and they're actually opening up all of these studios. I mean, so like, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that these new developers creating new studios can actually be big players in the industry?
I think it's great because just like, and it can go with anything even outside of this industry. Like it's great that especially if they didn't have a working condition that worked for them and things went downhill for them, then they should not let that push them down and keep them from doing what they want to do. And so I think it's a great message. It's a great thing for them, and it's also a great message for upcoming people that might be worried, might be scared, or they don't know if they can do this or that. And it's a good message to show, like, if you put your mind to it and it's something you really want to do, just do it, and you
Yeah.
can. It might be hard, but you can get help. And they're assisting new developers, and they're making things more comfortable for people. And I think that's really awesome. Even though it did come from layoffs or let
Yeah.
goes, and they got out of the job, it's still
It didn't deter them
uh
from doing
yeah,
something that
it's
they love.
great. Yeah, it's great that it didn't deter them, and it's great that they rebounded and they decided to push further with it, and it's inspiring. I like it.
Yeah, it really is inspiring. And I've mentioned this on stream plenty of times before, and I think using last year as an example with how many games that came out, I mean, that's just really just a product of COVID. A lot of these studios had to put all these titles on hold, and 2024 was, or 2023 was the year that that really push these games out onto the market, which is why it was so abundant with so many games, which is why there were so many debates on which one's going to be game of the year, because there were plenty of candidates for game of the year.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest issue, at least from my perspective, um, is that there are way too many games out there on the market right now that have zero quality. Um, like I've bought games on Steam, and I open them up and they're broken. They don't work at launch, and I have to wait a couple weeks for it to actually work. There's just a lot of stability issues with games, and they're just not running right. And it's a dumpster fire, and it's terrible. And I just feel that there's a lot of games now that are just not finished when they release because they're forced to release them. And I
I think
think, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think that's something that is a big reason why Baldur's Gate 3,
Yeah,
an amazing game, guys. Why
yeah,
Baldur's
go buy
Gate
it.
3 ended up it ended up getting Game of the Year last year. It was
Mhm,
another big reason, was that unlike a lot of games, they took their time,
mhm.
and when they did release, eventually
It was
people
good.
loved it. People got to hop into it and
Hmm.
play it immediately, and there was a minuscule amount of bugs.
Yep,
And I
ran
think
really
that's
well.
something that a lot of people, a lot of developers, like, I don't know if it comes down to their impatience or
They're
their
shareholders.
funding. Yeah,
We need the money now.
but like, it's they should definitely take their time to test and work on everything
Yeah,
before they do decide that they want to throw their game out there. It'll make it way better and more enjoyable for people and parties to get to experience it that way. Of course, everyone wants it now, but I'm sure everyone in hindsight would be
it
willing to
wants a
wait
good
a
game.
little longer. Yeah,
Yeah,
they want the good game, but they also want the good game to run. And
yeah,
that's a big part of it.
yeah. And I think
Yeah.
using Baldur's Gate as an example, I think Baldur's Gate 3 is a really good product of early access. Because
Yeah.
there are some instances where I have seen games that are early access, i.e., Star Citizen, where I almost feel like early access can be a fucking scam because Star Citizen has been in development for years and they're not done yet. They're still in what, alpha? I think
Not even
I think
sure.
Star Citizen is still in alpha. Last time we played it, it was in alpha, and boy, that was an experience to say the least. Um,
Hmm.
but I think with Baldur's Gate utilizing early access properly, and I will say utilizing COVID, the fact that they were all at home and nothing else that they could really do but just chill and work on the game.
Mm-hmm.
They really polished it up, and I think with these new studios that are coming up, being run by developers, they are going to take their time, and we might actually get some really good quality games now because the people that run it are people that genuinely enjoy video games and they want to make quality products for their customers rather than big studios like Activision Blizzard or EA. They don't really care about the quality of games. They're over here like with EA. Oh, new season football. Got to get out another Madden. Just copy paste that shit. Put it in. Send it out. Ship it. We'll get people to buy more packs. So there really is no quality in bigger AAA titles now, and it's really concerning. Which is why I'm really crossing my fingers here that these new studios such as Shapeshifter Games can actually make a huge impact. Because going back to Palworld, new studio.
Yeah, Pocket Pair is doing amazing,
Yep.
and honestly, I think Pocket Pair with Palworld have a great chance of maybe even getting Game of the Year. But
Ooh,
at the same
controversy.
time, at the same time,
Old opinion.
it's rough because they released a freight train of a game at the very beginning of the year. Now it's gonna come down to what else are other
What else
people.
is coming
Everyone's
out?
hyped up now, so what else
Mm.
is gonna come out? And is it gonna be a hit it and quit it type of game? Like,
Yeah.
are people
Smash it, one and
are
done. On to
yeah,
the
are
next one.
people gonna play the hell out of it and then
Yeah.
forget about it?
Or no, what is even like the big thing that I ask myself about Power World? What's next?
Yeah,
People are gonna
like
exhaust
are
content.
they
What are they gonna do?
like and it's amazing they're working on their, like, everyone knows some of their big plans for the future, which is great.
Okay.
And another great thing is that they're working on they want to fix and polish the game before they progress in it, which is really nice too. It just depends on how long it's going to take for them to fix that. Some people might become too impatient and won't wait for that. But then it also comes down to how much more and more and more can they add to the game.
I think anything is possible for them too. Now, I mean, they have the funding now. I
Yeah,
mean, they have plenty of funding now, so
if
anything is possible for that game and that studio.
yeah, they probably got like I did the numbers for 19 million earlier.
Mm-hmm.
If everyone bought the game at base price at 19 million purchases at base price $30, that would have been upwards of 574 million dollars.
It's good for a
Yeah,
small studio, let alone for a
yeah, it's
very
pretty
small
crazy.
brand new studio. And I think that's, I mean, like you mentioned with Nintendo, they may not be as mad. They're just trying to, please their audience with Nintendo because Nintendo does have a lot of fans and they are very dedicated fans. Like I have when I went to a launch at my local GameStop for Tears of the Kingdom. I literally, dude, people were pissed off. They were fighting, like not physically fighting, obviously, mind you. They were just yelling at each other, talking about like PlayStation versus Nintendo. And I was like, "What? Are we for real fighting this right now?" I'm like, "Just play games. Just play games. Be happy with what you got." The Nintendo fans, they are ride or die, brother. I was impressed with how ride or die they are. And when Power came out, going on the Power World subreddit, dude, and even just like being curious and going over to the Pokemon subreddit, they are talking. They are talking, and they are very vocal about how much they have disdain for that game. And I think these new studios, going back on our topic here, is that these bigger studios, I feel like that it might actually make them worried, which could
Yeah,
make it better for them because then they
but
can
at the
actually
same
work.
time, the bigger companies, depending on how things go between Palworld and between Pocket Pair and Nintendo here, depending on how that goes, if that goes
Mhm.
smoothly for Pocket Pair, that'll bolster the run for all these smaller companies.
Yeah,
But if Nintendo finds something that they can
get them for.
take away from Pocket Pair, then that will just be all the pressure of the bigger companies coming down again on
The little
smaller
guy.
companies and
Yeah.
threatening them. But at the same time, like, as long as they know they aren't infringing on any rights, if they're just careful and check what they need to do or they make original content, they have nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an ever evolving industry. It can be scary, but there also could be some positives that come out with it. So, I mean, me personally, I'm rooting for the little guy. I really want these new studios to actually be successful because, I'm a big believer in competition is good. I mean, you can be a ride or die with a big studio, that's fine. But when it comes to making good games, I would much rather have really good games than just having, big studios make the same thing over and over and over again. And
Hmm.
yeah, so I mean, I'm rooting for these new studios to actually not only make really good games themselves, but also put pressure on the industry and the industry leaders, is what I should say, to actually make good quality games for their consumer market. Because I think you could agree, and I think all of the viewers could agree that if we have really good quality games that we can enjoy, it makes the hobby so much better. It makes it
Yeah.
so much better. And we can introduce new people into a wide variety of games rather than just playing the same thing over and over and over again, like 2K or Madden or FIFA. We're actually broadening the landscape that gamers can play. So I'm rooting for you guys. Hopefully everything goes well. But I think we have enough time to do a bonus topic for everyone here.
Yeah.
And it has been a very controversial thing lately. And it goes all the way back to Sega of America. Their recent release being Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, part of their Yakuza series. They have been in the limelight not only because their game just launched, because of a small little detail that most games have that I wish Spider-Man 2 had. Looking at you, Insomniac. New Game Plus. New Game Plus is being held behind a paywall. Sega has it hostage, Will. They have New Game Plus
Imagine.
hostage. In order to play New Game Plus after beating the game, you need to buy the deluxe edition of the game or purchase the Master Vacation bundle, which is where you get New Game Plus. That's the only way that you can play New Game Plus. You can't you can't play it in base game.
Basically, like paying a bunch of money for a glorified demo, man. I don't know what to
I mean,
say.
yeah, I mean, the Like a
Oh,
Dragon series is huge. It's
God.
like 40-hour game, but like, you're right.
It's a
You're
big
right.
demo,
It is
but
a
like
it's a
if I
big
can't
demo.
get in a new game plus, don't know what to say.
I don't know what to do. I mean, it's important to note, viewers, that the base game of Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is $70. And mind you, all of this is on Steam. So I'm assuming it's the same price over on Xbox and on PlayStation. Um, but the base game of Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is $70. And to purchase the deluxe edition of the game, it is $85. You can also purchase like the ultimate edition, which is like 110. But for the topic of conversation here with New Game Plus, you need to purchase the deluxe, which is $85 versus the now new industry standard of $70. And mind you, this is all USD. Or if you get the base game of $70, you can purchase the vacation bundle for $20. So you're basically being forced to buy a brand new game at $85.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, and we have plenty of viewers that are from Canada, so it is even more expensive to play Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth in Canada.
I can say, I mean, it's a lot of money, man. I'm just
It is.
just not gonna buy the game.
No,
I got Palworld. I mean,
I got Palworld.
40-hour game. I already got 120 hours in this game, and I'm still playing. And
Yeah,
New Game Plus, it's not a thing, but it
not a
wouldn't
thing.
be held by it wouldn't be held by a paywall, I'm sure.
Yeah. I'm just so frustrated because like I personally enjoy the Yakuza series. I really enjoy it, and I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy it. But I will say I'm going to encourage everyone to like if you're still trying to play through the Yakuza series, try to collect all of the juicy lore. Um, wait until this goes on sale, maybe, because then
Probably won't.
might be worth it. Um, but I think that's crazy. Like, do you think that New Game Plus behind a paywall is going to be a new thing in the industry?
I sure hope not. They're
I
just
fucking
looking
hope
for
not.
money.
Yeah.
Like, whoa. It's literally a part of their game, and they're like,
Yeah.
money.
What do you think is the reason for it? Why do you think they did that? Could you think of a way that
They gotta be running out of money.
Sega?
They gotta be.
They
They're
gotta
already
be.
asking. They're asking so much money for the base game, and then they're like,
Mm,
"Hey guys, since we obviously cannot morally make you pay 80, $90 off the bat, we'll
mhm.
make you pay 70, and then if you want to keep playing the game over again at a better difficulty, and experience the full game, yeah, maybe $20 more will do."
Yeah.
They've got to be running out of money. They want the money.
And it's
There's no
crazy too, because
way.
I mean, even
So
at the
stingy.
Game Awards last year in December, Sega they talked about Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth at their like they did like a little mini keynote. They even mentioned that they're going to be remaking a bunch of their games. They're remaking Sega Bass Fishing. They're going to be remaking Crazy Taxi. So like, yeah, yeah, they're making a ton of games. So like, they're making like, do you think they're running out of money because they need to make Crazy Taxi?
Maybe.
Maybe we need to get all the taxis.
Maybe they're remaking Crazy Taxi because they're running out of ideas and money. I don't know. But either way, like if money's not the point, then there's something going on with them, man.
Yeah,
something's wrong.
I don't know. So I mean,
because that's a lot of money that I am not gonna
yeah,
spend.
I don't think I would pay 80 because I would want to play New Game Plus with that. I don't think I would pay $85 for it. Genuinely, I don't think the game is that good to pay $85. Now, if it was like Elden Ring, maybe.
Yeah, I know the game's called Infinite Wealth, but like we're all working in a capitalist country if you're from America.
Yeah.
And let's say it's not that fair here.
So
I need my money for groceries and life insurance.
I need my money to pay for my livelihood, which is really ironic. You know what? Well, maybe I just figured out why they put New Game Plus behind the paywall. Because Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is the very first game within the Yakuza world, the Yakuza series. It takes place in America. It is in Hawaii. So what better way to title it Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth in a land where you don't make infinite wealth? So you have to pay for everything.
Honestly, if it's based in Hawaii, I probably would just save more and have more fun. Just fly into Hawaii. I might as well. I don't want to see Hawaii that bad. I just fly there. It's
just fly there yourself. Yeah, why would you need to see Hawaii in a video game when you can just go there?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. Regardless, if there's any big game company out there, please, for the love of God, do not do this. That behavior it's not good. It's not good, and it's not acceptable. There's going to be a lot of people that may buy your game, such as myself.
Not getting my money.
Yeah, but you're not getting Will's money.
Not mine.
You'll get mine, but at a significant discounted price. because I am not paying for that. That is crazy, dude. That's crazy. It's fucking.
I'm not waiting for him to discount it and put any on my blacklist, man.
Oh, put it on the blacklist. It's
Yeah,
not even
I'm
making
seeing that
it.
game.
There's no Yakuza fan in Will anymore. It's dead. It's dead to him.
Never
gonna play it.
was. Never will be.
And everyone in the comment section right now, you need to go comment saying Will get back into streaming, and you have to stream the Yakuza series. You have to. You're gonna be
Only
first.
if they pay for it.
gift 50 subs, and then I'll stream Yakuza.
Yeah, if you guys want me to play it that bad, like, I need the money. Because I literally am budgeting so hard right now.
You will play Yakuza Infinite Wealth that takes place in Hawaii. You'll play it in Hawaii. You'll fly out there. And you'll live there for however long it takes for you to get through New Game Plus as well.
If I was able to get that much money, man, I would have a lot of things would be different.
I would assume. I
was gonna say so many things, but I'll just stick with a lot of things would be different, except for my Shure SM7B D microphone. No, I'm just kidding.
Stream, not sponsored. You should sponsor us. Sure. Buy me one as well.
It is not sponsored. I do promise, but I do like it. But I do need to do some adjustments with it and get
a nice mic.
Equalizer. Yeah. This is bass. This is literally all I have into this is gain.
Gain, dude. That's all I got.
Yeah,
getting the gains in the game.
Clean old gain, and then I do need to get like voice meter banana or something for an equalizer, and then I can make it sound bassy and yeah, that's how I want it. But it picks up everything, like my toots.
Yeah.
If anybody was paying attention like 20 minutes ago, I did toot.
I did toot.
That was me.
We're gonna see in the playback on YouTube. There's gonna be a nice little spike at that mark where everyone scrolls back just to hear it.
They're gonna see you talking. Mm-hmm. They're gonna see me trying to hold my smile and laugh back, and they're gonna see green lines pop up around my Discord picture, and they're gonna know. If they listen this far, they will know
that Will 137 has tooted.
Yeah,
has tooted.
I'm tooting as we speak.
Well, I think we are running out of time here on this week's episode of Content Overload. Before we go, though, I do want to start a consistent thing that we end the each podcast on, and it's on this how would you say it on this episode of Content Overload? What game are you playing right now? What is your go-to game right now as you speak?
Guys, it's Palworld. Oh my god, dude. It's such a good game. Have you guys heard about this game?
Oh my god.
No.
Just go back to the very beginning of the podcast. You can get every little detail about Palworld. Yeah. So Palworld is your game of choice.
I'll say it again. Roll it back.
So Palworld's your game of choice. You would say right now.
Palworld is my game of choice.
Good game or bad game?
Oh, dude, it's horrible.
It's horrible?
I fucking love it. No, I'm just kidding. It's amazing.
Nice.
I'm about to make a big review whenever I hit 200 hours.
Do it, dude. You got to do it.
About how amazing it is.
If you review it, if you review it, you make a video. I will publish the review on page.
I mean like a Steam review.
No, you got to make a full review. A full hour and a half op-ed about how much you love Palworld.
I'm not that much. I'm not into video editing, and people.
You won't just hit record
that long alone.
Just hit record.
That'd be annoying.
You're just sitting there talking to yourself for like 2 hours.
Hey, I do it sometimes. Maybe it would be good. Maybe I would.
Oh boy. So Palworld being your go-to game. I would say the game that I've been playing. I actually just finished it today. It was a one and done video game. It's 2 hours long. Silent Hill, A Short Message. It just came out 2 days ago. It came out during the PlayStation Direct. It was they talked about it right after they showcased a little bit of Silent Hill 2 remake. And Silent Hill Short Message is really good for a free to play game from Konami, the greedy bastards they are. It was pretty damn good. I mean, there was a couple of things that I would, critique it, and I talked about it on stream. So if you want to go check out my thoughts on it, you can go to the VOD. But I thought it was pretty good, man. I enjoyed it, and the next game that I'll be playing and sinking a ton of hours into, probably off stream, is it's gonna be Suicide Squad. I'm gonna be playing a lot of the Suicide Squad, Kill Justice League, because I've been seeing a lot of gameplay of it, and it actually looks good. And I'm sure we'll talk about that in the next episode of Content Overload.
I haven't seen anything about it.
Check it out. It's good.
Other than when I saw you playing it just a moment ago, didn't even know it was a game. I've been playing Palworld.
There's a ton of controversy in it. Yeah. But that is something that we're gonna have to talk about next time in episode 3 of Content Overload. Will, again, thank you for joining the podcast full time as a co-host, man. I greatly appreciate it. It's always a blast.
Oh yeah, dude. It was awesome. I'm so glad to be your guys' co-host. Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm
so flattered.
I think the Content Overload podcast is gonna start, getting some traction now that we're gonna be wrapping up episode 2 here. But I'm very excited for episode 3 when we bring on another guest, and if everything works out the way that it needs to, I think the next episode is going to be pretty damn good. It's going to be really interesting, so you definitely do not want to miss it.
And
go ahead.
I was going to say, and I think it's going to be great for your podcasting endeavors. It's going to be more for you to learn. You're experiencing a podcast with another new person. You might learn new stuff. It'll get better. Things will be better.
Exactly.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
If all of you enjoyed this week's episode of Content Overload, we publish a new episode every 2 weeks. So the next episode of Content Overload will come out on February 17th at 6:00 p.m. PST. So make sure to like, comment, and subscribe and turn on the notification bell to be notified whenever a new episode of Content Overload comes out. I'm going to try to do my best to start posting more content on here other than just the podcast. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, everyone. Greatly appreciate it. Hopefully all of you have a one last thing.
I want to add a blooper.
Okay.
For those of you that, sorry to ruin your ending here.
No, you're good, man.
For those of you at the very beginning, if you guys watched all the way to here, first of all, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
And second of all, if you saw me hiding my face and laughing, it's because at the very beginning, it took us like 4 or 5 attempts to try to start it, because we were just goofing off, and I couldn't stop laughing because I was getting nervous for the episode. And so yeah, he finally just started it, and I was just like,
oh god.
Oh man, yeah, and I have to tinkle so bad.
Yeah. Well, if you made it all the way to the end of the episode, put in the comments right now, will go to the bathroom. But again, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in episode 3 of Content Overload, where we have an awesome guest and we talk about some great things. So make sure to stay safe and keep gaming. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.